Hey everyone, welcome to another Goody Reader video. My name is Michael.
This is Peter.
We have here before us the Sony digital paper, otherwise known as the DPT-S1. It's just received the massive firmware update for the Japanese and English version. As you can see here, everything is in English.
Yes.
So we're going to kind of go over some of the key features that this has going for it now and give you a sense on visually what's new. First of all, let's just talk about some of the new things that we can't really show you. For instance, it has data encryption, and it's able to enable AES 256-bit encryption, and this provides an extra layer of security. If you already have this, you actually have to format it in order for it to work.
So you'll have to delete everything on your device right here, if you can pause the video and read this, in order to initiate this.
Right. So if you want to enable encryption, which will prevent, it'll basically make it more secure, but it has to format with that extra layer of security on it. In addition, another security feature is a device lock password. And if you have a smartphone or tablet, you're likely familiar with being able to make it so you could only unlock the device if you enter like a password, and you could establish it here with alphanumeric capital letters. And this is really useful because it's not too often that devices like e-readers actually have this sort of unlock feature. It also has PDF form support, and I think that this is probably the biggest new feature, because we've all received PDFs that require you to do checkmark boxes. Are you male or are you female? Exactly. When's your birthday? For taxes,
lists,
for
certain fields of text.
Exactly.
All that kind of stuff.
So we don't have any of those to show you, but in terms of those sort of PDFs, we get them all the time, and now the Sony e-reader could actually allow you to check mark or select boxes. Now let's look at the things that we can show you. The bulk of the new enhancements are on editing a PDF document, which we're on now. Now, we've just drew a picture because this is something that you could actually do.
This is the new BlackBerry Passport, and this bird is pleasantly surprised at it.
He is, because he's thinking that this is a return to form for BlackBerry.
Yeah, and he's like, wow, I should get me one of those.
Okay, so if you are an existing Sony user, you would notice that the toolbar now is on the side, whereas before it was on the top.
Exactly.
So one of the things about this is that there's indications now via the little arrows, and before they didn't really have those, so you didn't know if a feature had like an expanded submenu, but now that they actually do. One of the cool things that you could do is actually handwrite in zoom mode, and this is something that you've been unable to do before. So this is the default mode.
Say you wanted to choose a pen. We'll choose blue bold, make a box. What if you wanted to draw something super intricate within that box? You can actually get the pen out of the way. You can zoom in, and now with high accuracy you can draw within that box and make super cool designs. So that's really cool, because you could not do that before.
Yeah, and one of the interesting things as Peter pulled out the pen is you get a little bit more information about the UI now. Before, it would only show you pictures of it. It didn't really say anything. So how fine were they? Now it kind of gives you more visual information. Bold, fine, and things like that.
Precisely.
Okay. One of the other things that you can do is undo and redo, and this was a really requested feature because sometimes you would be editing some stuff, make a mistake, and maybe you're coming back to a day later, and it's like, well, what were the mistakes?
Exactly.
What do I erase? Now it's becoming really easy.
So you can draw something and go, oh no, I don't want that. All you gotta do is click the redo. You don't have to pull out the eraser. You don't have to do any of that.
Yeah.
Simple undo, and then you can redo if you want to do that as well.
It's a little bit more elegant.
Right.
All right. So Another thing that you could do is disable gestures. And a lot, if you're like me, I kind of grew up when I write where it's like, I'm like this.
Right.
You know, my wrist is down, I'm you know, drawing things. And with this, you could often trigger touch screen interactions.
Exactly.
Say, you know, you are check marking boxes and doing forms and things like that. And you're reading, you're interacting with the document with a lot of interactive features. You don't want to trigger that.
Press the More button. We have all the normal options except disable gestures now. So when you do that, you'll no longer be able to use your finger on the page. You'll have to press the hardware-driven button to re-enable the gestures.
You could also hide the toolbar completely now.
Yeah, so you don't obscure your whole notepad.
Yeah, so if you're just reading a PDF document, say you're reading a textbook or a legal document and you want to hide all this, it's simple. You just hide the toolbar. One of the easier things now with this is that you could add and delete and insert pages in a document.
Press the little ellipses here and you get insert page and delete current page. And elaborating on this, you can actually click this tab page. Before, there were 3 tabs up top and you didn't know how many more tabs you had because it kind of just, there wasn't enough space. Now they've organized it vertically, meaning you can see everything very clear.
And once, it goes one of one. So if this gets full, you can just touch that and then go to like page 2. And I think that that's way easier to interact with.
Right. And you also have single page view, thumbnail view for 2x2, 3x3, and this can all be triggered either by the zoom, the icons here, or you can zoom yourself and that will change the level as well. These are all my wonderful drawings.
Yeah, so these are the main new features that have been introduced with the latest edition of the Sony firmware update. And Peter, to download this update, what do people have to do?
You got to go to the Sony website and download a program. It is an EXE program, meaning that you won't have to drag and drop anything to your Sony directly. You just run the program. It then prompts you to plug in your Sony, and once you do, everything gets automated and you go through about 10 to 30 minute update depending on when it was updated last, how slow your connection is, etc., etc.
So most e-readers, when you update it, it's like you got to plug this in your computer, copy the firmware into like the root and go through this complicated procedure. Sony's really made it easy with like an exe file that basically instructs you along the whole journey about what you do.
One of the last things is pen settings. Before, you could change the pen button right here to do either highlight or not highlight. Now you can choose highlight, eraser active, or button inactive highlighting only, meaning that you can click that and write, and that will either highlight or erase the thing you've just written instead of having to always select pen and then back to eraser and then back to pen. So that's another interesting feature they added.
All right, guys, so this is the full and comprehensive list of everything that's included in the new update for the Sony digital paper. Drop a comment below if you have any questions or concerns about anything that you saw in this video or ideas for future videos regarding this e-reader. For GetEReader.com, my name is Michael.
This is Peter.
Everybody take care.